Return of writs for Goroka by-election. Prime Minister gives assurance to address mental health. And Maru questions delay in construction of international wharfs.
This is National EMTV News with Jeremy Mogi.
Welcome, this is Tuesday's news. The writ for the Goroka Open by-election was returned to the Governor-General today by the Acting Electoral Commissioner Simon Sinai. The Goroka by-election concluded on Saturday with the declaration of Aya Tambua as the new member for Goroka Open.
In returning the writ today to the Governor-General, Acting Electoral Commissioner Simon Sinai was pleased with the overall conduct of the by-election, which saw the implementation of a number of initiatives by the Electoral Commission to improve the overall management of the election. Initiatives the Commission took in a bid to improve the conduct of elections here include increasing the number of polling teams from 67 in the 2017 national elections to 160 in the recently concluded by-election, creating separate polling booths for women and girls, LLG-based counting of ballot papers to training of scrutineers.
Scrutineers were trained on the LPV system. When they were trained, they give less interventions or interjections or unnecessary objections to counting processes. We have now identified that that is one of the areas need to be concentrated, and so all the scrutineers need to be trained about voting, how the polling booth is set, how the counting is going to be happen, or what their roles and responsibilities in the different stages of the elections operation.
He said most of these initiatives look promising and they will look at adopting some in the national elections in future. He also raised concerns of using the limited preferential voting system.
The LVV system should now, as Papua New Guineans will see who is their best candidate or best leader in that electorate. So when you have the opportunity to cast a vote based on first preference and second and third, the first you can give it to your one-top or your relative or whoever you want, but the second and third vote supposed to go to the person who you think is the best.
The election was conducted at the cost of more than 6 million kina, and Sinai thanked everyone involved in making this election a success. The return of writs for the Goroka by-election now signifies the conclusion of the electoral process. The Goroka by-election was a result of a court decision and is the only petition that returned a decision for a by-election from the 87 election petition cases. Ruth Rungola, National EMTV News.
Following the return of the writ to the Governor-General today, Aya Tambua was officially sworn in as the member-elect for Goroka Open at the State Function Room. Surrounded by family, friends, party members, executives and parliamentary staff, the new member took his oath to serve the sovereign state of Papua New Guinea. Tambua is now officially the new member for Goroka Open and looks forward to his time in office.
Thank you to my people in Goroka who accompanied me today. This is the final process. We've just finished it, and I am officially now the Member of Parliament. Thank you very much. This is just a formality, but the real job was done in the ballot paper, in which I want to say thank you to all of you, especially the people of Goroka. Thank you very much.
With less than 2 years remaining before the 2022 national elections, newly elected member for Goroka Aya Tambua says he will be realistic with his development plans and work at plans that can be achievable in this short period of time. His long-term plans include transforming the face of Goroka town and returning it to its glory days.
Tambua may be young and new to politics, but he knows what he wants to achieve in the next 2 years.
We cannot really do anything much within the time. To be realistic, it's a short time, but I think the important thing is we want to deliver the basics. Basic in terms of services. For me to promise something big is not really achievable, but I want to deliver the basics to the people, and I think that's what we've been lacking for the last 10 years.
His focus will be on fixing up the Goroka town water supply and a few other areas that need immediate attention.
My focus right now will be for water supply, rural road upgrades, SME for women, and rural electrification. That will be my main project, something which can be achieved in a short amount of time.
He says Goroka town has been neglected for a long time, and in the long run, he desires to see the town get a major facelift.
Goroka, as you know, is a gateway to the highlands, and the town itself has been neglected for the past 10, 15, 20 years. And Goroka town upgrade, the image of Goroka town needs to improve. We want to really develop and make Goroka become the, what it was in the 80s, 90s, the town where everyone wanted to be in.
He also took the time to thank the other 21 candidates who contested in this by-election and made a special mention of the 3 female candidates who beat the odds to put their mark in this male-dominated field. And his message to the other candidates was simple.
The election has come and gone. Now it's time to put our heads together. I'm willing to work with all of them and deliver service to the people. And we all work as one.
Ruth Rungula, National EMTV News.
Prime Minister James Marape has dispelled talks about a looming vote of no confidence challenging former Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and the opposition team, stating government numbers are rock solid. The Prime Minister says he is confident that the government coalition will go past the November Parliament sitting successfully and will deliver a good budget. Dennis Orere with more.
With the inclusion of newly elected Goroka MP Aye Tambua under Pangu Party, Prime Minister James Marape says the party now has 31 MPs. And together with other coalition partners, Prime Minister Marape says there are more than 90 MPs in the government coalition. Marape says he is aware that former Prime Minister Peter O'Neill wants to claim back the Prime Minister's seat.
Many of you have listened to social media speculations and many other rantings that goes on and on. These are not coming from every other place. The alternate to James Marape is Mr. Peter O'Neill. And so that's the alternate. If the country wants to go back to Peter O'Neill, it's fine. Members of Parliament who are from the opposite side making a lot of noise, they're not making this noise for the Honourable Maru or Honourable anybody else. It's Mr. O'Neill who's on the other side trying to make a comeback as Prime Minister. And everybody has a right to make a comeback or make a bid to be Prime Minister. But there is no vacancy. The number on government side is rock solid.
Just over a year remains before the 2022 general elections. And with the PNG Electoral Commission introducing the biometric system of voting at the Kupiano Ward by-election last week in Central Province, and recently the use of cameras at polling sites during the Goroka by-election, the 2022 general elections is expected to be somewhat different to previous elections. And Prime Minister Marape says the government coalition is prepared for it.
And with the strength of 31 members of Parliament from Pangu, and with ULP, URP, and National Alliance, and People's Party, becoming major co-partners in our coalition. And when you add up the rest, our numbers always peak at and around 90 members of Parliament. And so we are confident we will go past November. We are confident we will formulate a successful 2021 budget. And we will be going into preparing well for 2022, and we will give a fair go on everyone in contesting 2022 elections. So,
a confident Prime Minister Marape has dispelled rumors of a looming vote of no confidence, saying there will not be any need for it as government has the numbers, and so they look forward to the 2022 national elections.
Let me dispel the rumor of all this hogwash and that goes on about possible vote of no confidence.
Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
Mental health is one of the most neglected areas of public health, which is quite evident in Papua New Guinea today. The Directorate for Social Change and Mental Health Services has been working hard to bring more awareness to this area since its establishment in 2015. Prime Minister James Marape gave his assurance that the government, through the Health Department, will show greater investment towards mental health.
Mental health is one of the most neglected areas in public health and receives very minimum support from the government. Prime Minister James Marape announced yesterday that his government will show greater investment towards mental health.
Let me give you assurance, you are equally important, if not very important. And please advocate what level of interventions we need to make by way of policy and legislations if need be. And also in terms of lobbying for budget support, we don't have the entire bag full of money to satisfy every need 100%. But we can give a best endeavor in the way we distribute resources. You can get your fair share of resources.
WHO reports that close to 1 billion people are living with a mental disorder. 3 million people die every year from the harmful use of alcohol, and 1 person dies every 40 seconds by suicide. With the COVID-19 pandemic, the numbers have increased significantly as individuals around the world try to adapt to the new normal.
The mental health became an issue even with the healthcare providers initially in that epidemic. And when we were working with Rita Flynn, with the healthcare providers there, some of them were actually removed from the houses. You know, there was so much of stigma that if we had to provide and look after our own healthcare providers.
The Directorate for Social Change and Mental Health Services was created on the legal basis of the Mental Health Act 2015. The act ensures that the Laloke Psychiatric Hospital has a board. With the mental health reform, the Directorate now comes under the Health Ministry and operates independently.
Government in our community, in our families, and all sectors of our lives. When we have a healthy mind, we'll be able to move forward and do better things. But of course, also of course, those who have problem with mentally, we have services to help them. So this is where we are sure that the population is well taken care of.
This year's mental health campaign highly focuses on mental health for all, greater investment, greater access for everyone, everywhere. And with some support from the government, now more than ever, we individually must promote good mental health and prevent mental illness. Lilian Sopera Kinea, National EMTV News.
Former National Planning Minister queries progress of international wharfs. KCHL denies rumors of asset sale, and ancillary staff claim no pay for 29 fortnights. Details when we come back. You're watching Tuesday's news. Concerns on the government's failure to secure funding for the construction of the Wewak and Vanimo International Wharfs were raised by the opposition today. Former National Planning Minister Richard Maru said 17 months have lapsed and the Marape government has not announced plans to develop these 2 international wharfs for the purpose of trade with Indonesia.
The West Papua province of Indonesia has been identified as a potential trading partner for Papua New Guinea. With economic and traditional ties already in existence with the border provinces, the former government regime has initiated plans to increase economic trades with Indonesia through the construction of international wharfs.
My displeasure over the government's failure to secure funding and build the new Wewak and Vanimo international wharfs. Both wharfs were identified as very critical economic enablers in order for Papua New Guinea to start trading with the nation of Indonesia in a big way.
Local PNG-made products like oxen palm, twisties and noodles are listed as 3 commodities on high demand from across the border. Thus, with the construction of international wharfs, these PNG-made products, including other cash crops like vanilla and rice, can be exported to Indonesia.
As all of you know, we have a road link to Indonesia. This is the country which has the greatest economic trading potential for us as a nation. They have a market, they have a growing economy, they have many nations that have the same eating habits that we do. They are a country that is growing and need food. Our country has the vast Sepik plants that can be developed, and we are already starting the developments there to start producing food for Indonesia.
In 2018, the then O'Neill-Abel government allocated a 30 million kina for a feasibility and financial viability studies for the wharfs in Vanimo and Wewak. That study has shown that those 2 wharfs had the economic potential for Papua New Guinea to trade with Indonesia. Thus, that project was projected into the government's medium-term development goal number 3 to increase economic trade with Indonesia.
The Australian government, knowing the potential of Indonesia as a market, has recently concluded a free trade agreement with Indonesia after 10 years of negotiations. They are now leaving us behind and going to a market that we should have been the first to tap into, with live cattle exports and many of their food exports, including dairy products, going into Indonesia. When we have a land border, they're only 3 hours away and we can't even trade with them.
The Office of the Prime Minister has been contacted for a statement on these economic concerns raised by the opposition side. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Kumul Consolidated Holdings Limited is not selling any assets. That's the confirmation from the chairman of KCH, Peter Aitzi, and the managing director, Ezekiel Taureka. This follows rumors of the sale of KCHL assets.
The board and management of Kumul Consolidated Holdings released a media statement dispelling social media rumors that KCH is selling its assets. KCH chairman Peter Aitzi said he is aware of a previous decision some years ago to sell surplus telecommunication towers to other communication companies, but that decision never eventuated. He said currently there is no sale of communication towers and that decision remains. Similar information was also provided by the Minister for State-Owned Enterprise, Sasindra Mutuvel, who says the idea of selling towers was discussed in 2019. Mutuvel wasn't the SOE minister then, but he explains that the plan back then was to use the money from the sales of the redundant B-Mobile towers to restructure the massive debt in Kumul Telecom Holdings, or KTH. He said the discussion went nowhere because it was blocked with suggestions that it was a fire sale, even though this would have been a big benefit to KTH at that time. Mutuvel said even if the sale was allowed, it would be subject to NEC's approval, as all state assets are subject to KCH Act. Under the KCH Act, the sale or disposal of any SOE assets worth more than 10 million kina must be approved by NEC. Mutuvel further says there has also never been a discussion about KTH selling or reassigning spectrum. He says KTH is not in a position to reassign or sell its spectrum, and this has never been done in PNG. Spectrum relates to the radio frequencies allocated to the mobile industry and other sectors for communication over the airwaves. NICTA is the appropriate agency to allocate spectrum, and only NICTA can remove the spectrum from KCH if it doesn't comply and allocate to a newcomer. KCH Managing Director Ezekiel Tareka said the allegations made on social media claiming that him and KCH board and the minister having close relations with the principals of Fiji's Amalgamated Telecom Holdings are utter nonsense and pointless speculations made to character assassinate individuals. Meanwhile, the decision to issue a third mobile carrier license to Fiji's Amalgamated Telecom Holdings, or ATH, was made by the previous government and carried out by NICTA. ATH recently partnered in Fiji with Vodafone, a reputable international mobile communications company. ATH is majority owned by the Fiji National Provident Fund. In 2019, ATH announced that it has struck a deal to acquire 70% of shareholding in Digital Group operating in PNG, Singapore and Australia. Just last month, the Asian Development Bank invested 87 million kina to finance a greenfield 4G mobile telecommunications network in PNG. Shamin Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
Schools around the country still face overcrowding in classrooms. One school is Berena Primary School in the Karukohiri district of Central Province. Yesterday, the school opened a double classroom after years of establishment. Head teacher Nick Numera says the school needs urgent support to build its capacity to improve academic results.
Like most schools in the country, Berena Primary School also faces issues of overcrowding. Given the high population in the area, the school has struggled with classroom facilities. The head teacher says even the TFF is not helpful.
We need support. The TFF is not coming good. We can't do much. If we want to do better in our academic performance, we must have infrastructure in place. Better infrastructure for better performance.
The new double classroom took nearly 18 months to complete. Despite the learning institution established for over 40 years, it still lacked a basic infrastructure. Through the DDA, funding was made available for a contractor to complete the building.
But more so, and particularly the students of this primary school, for which we have this occasion today, on the occasion of opening of our double classroom that adds to the infrastructure of your school.
Berena Primary School plans to upgrade its status to a model school as the 166 curriculum takes effect. However, more needs to be done to align its structure and capacity, not just infrastructure, but teacher attitude, registration and inspection.
And a high absenteeism in schools. Poor performance in schools. Learning is very low.
The school was established by the Catholic Mission. The district hopes to continue its partnership to serve the people.
People are now civilized. We are thankful to our churches for bringing in evangelization as well as civilization last 135 years ago to our part of the district. This is why we as a government want to continue that partnership with our churches to ensure education, health and every other services provided jointly.
Jack Lopava Jr., National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the Karukohiri MP says efforts of splitting the district has progressed. Since 2014, MP Peter Isoaimo submitted documents to the Boundary Commission for a possible separation of Karukohiri given the landmass and population. He says 4 other districts in the country are also under review. Isoaimo says the final report by the Commission is nearing fruition.
We are now awaiting Boundaries Commission people of the Electoral Commission to finalize the consultative report, bring it to Parliament so we can debate and adopt it. That's the only hurdle before us. Whether it happens in this term of government or in the next term of Parliament is really in government's wisdom now. But as you remember, I am pushing so hard, vigorously, to see that split in Karukohiri electorate.
More than 20 ancillary staff of Buandi Secondary School in Leh have told the media that the school hasn't paid them for 29 fortnights. This follows a protest by over 2,000 students of Bugandi Secondary School who petitioned the Mosby Education Division to address their grievances. The students have alleged mismanagement by the school's administration that has affected their learning. The institution is one of the oldest schools in Leh with a boarding status. The school's ancillary staff are still serving the school as maintenance workers, cooks, and security guards.
We are supposed to be going to the deputy principal administration, but we always get sent to the principal. Now, mipla walking this la one time, this la heavy blum plum pla karem come now. This la since last year. I look also 4 all principals. Me no thing also walk boom one time. Try lo talk na sort him out all matters. We walk lo come up inside lo this la institution, Bugandi Secondary School. Nem affecting me pla all ancillary staff to big pla tumas. Pain me pla film and big pla true. Since last year coming up now. Me pla bring him talk blum pla go lo PPA. On top long administration on top, Mosby provincial government, me plug go on top have 3 time, administrator me plug go 2 time, na inspector do me plug go 1 time. Me plug bringing paper tason la go Lucille office blongen. Na coming up now, me plug been go, na coming up now no 1 good pla respond them come lo me pla. And it's coming to a point where it's just gone beyond our means, We cannot take it anymore. For being off pay for 29 fortnights, who can live for that long? 29 fortnights. Mipla na pay na mipla stop. As I'm speaking right now, some of us had no breakfast this morning or dinner last night.
The Colonial Wow Health Center in Mosby's Bololo district has been condemned twice by health inspectors. However, the building has seen no maintenance to date. Staff serving at the center are using other buildings such as the staff kitchen to serve a population of about 40,000 people. The health center was used as a European hospital during the colonial era and was taken over by the PNG government after independence in 1975.
These buildings, which were once used during the colonial days for other purposes, are now being used to treat patients seeking health care in Wau. The main building is now vacant after being condemned twice already. Behind me is the Wau Health Center. It was built in the colonial days and was used until 2013 when it was first condemned. The second condemnation was in 2015. However, no further action has been taken to date. Health workers here are currently operating from smaller buildings away from the condemned building, serving a population of over 40,000 people coming from Wau Rural, Wau Urban and Warrior LLG. This deteriorated health facility has crippled healthcare in this part of Mosby. A senior staff says the health center now only attends to emergency cases and refers cases which are out of its capacity to lay at the expense of the patient.
Looking very severe na facilities so must refer lo engao.
Services here have been limited to an outpatient as well as TB and HIV and AIDS services. There is a labor ward and this small building is the morgue. It accommodates a dead corpse for only a day.
We plan to start mark where health requirements belong this country you mean need him learn. This last standard and we plan to stop in. We play stop lo one plaka in status where all remotest area lo 8 posts na kaino sen about say stop and we play stop lo kind standard.
Wau Health Center was built by New Guinea Gold Fields during the gold rush in the 1950s. It was handed over to the PNG government after 1975 when PNG became free of the colonial rule. The last maintenance to this health center was in 2008 by Mosby Consolidated Goldfields. This condemned facility has seen no other maintenance since then.
Even all member, all sampler, all NGOs, All come try lo help him, kiss him pizza, walk him kind, but still me plus stop lo same situation yet.
Added issues to these neglected facilities, water supply, an incomplete administration building, and deteriorated staff housing. Charlene Airy, National EMTV News, Leh.
And now looking at the NAS Fund Market Report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2860 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Euro Kina is buying $0.2785 US, $0.3823 Australian dollars, $0.2276 euro, and 28.68 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, and copra closed unchanged. Crude oil is trading higher, palm oil and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 110.20 points higher. The ASX 200 is trading at 6.77 points higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 10.17 points higher. Now, if you're active on social media, you would know the characters of Cabbage Gang. We'll tell you all about it after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. They have taken social media by storm in Papua New Guinea. Manu Tipi and Salam Lavaki, the faces behind the viral Cabbage Gang entertainment. The two best friends team up to form a duo that has been a phenomenon.
Is that Tonabe's wife with another guy?
It started off as a joke. This wordplay as two best friends began a journey that would bring smiles to audiences at home.
Oh my God, is that Tonabe's wife with another guy? Oh, please.
And the brains behind all this, two laid-back young men who at one stage were volleyball teammates.
Who already touched on whatever the issue was at that time, but now that we know that we have the platform for it, we kind of basically, I feel like I'm saying basically a lot, but we're touching on bigger issues because it's with some comedy in it, of course, which a lot of people need to be aware of.
A lot of the skits that we normally produce were mostly attracted by Papua New Guineans. So a lot of Papua New Guineans, we saw that they were going to get attracted when we moved over to Facebook. So in that way, like, it attracted a lot of followers and likes. So that actually, it was actually a really big boost for us, and it helped us to come this far right now.
Their short skits are commentary on PNG society. The struggles faced by many Papua New Guineans presented as reality, but in humorous fashion.
What happened to the rice? What happened to your job? How comes the rice is orange, Dad?
Yo Arema, thanks to Edaranu, all Khatim Wara close to. So me cooking rice one time ochi because you people drink water and don't refill it.
And despite the challenges that they have faced, they maintain nothing but a positive outlook in the work that they do.
People don't really watch news, that like their attention span is really short, but with our platform, like, comedy can kind of keep them online long enough to at least like absorb something, and it's basically adding comedy with some real life. Some truth to it, yeah.
Moving from the comedic sketches they have based their platform on, the two are now embarking on entrepreneurship and have launched their newest merchandising.
It was a win-win both ways. So yeah, it was a good one. But as time went by, it kind of went slow, but eventually it picked up again. Yeah, especially on the loose week, but maybe on the fortnight week.
With the COVID-19 pandemic taking a toll on the country and the world, Cabbage Gang Entertainment has focused on entertaining the masses, bringing forth a fresh level of fun that was sorely needed.
Do it again. Do it again. Wait, that was supposed to be like, is that Tonabe's? Is that Tonabe's wife with another guy? All right.
And while it's done by a handful of other part-time funny people, the two maintain a serious focus on what they would like to achieve, although keeping the proverbial cards close to their chests.
I'm not pulling a Dave Chappelle, bro. But yeah, much love to everyone who's watching, who's following us on every platforms like you, Blogger. Thank you. Thank you very much for having us, bro.
Cabbage Gang merchandise can be purchased via their social media page on popular platform Facebook as well as Instagram, with the team also having their sites set on YouTube and TikTok.
So what's going to happen now? Go inside and you eat that rice. Your mother is not here yet. She's still at work. Tabu Bill. When have you guys seen me cook?
And the full video of that interview will be available on EMTV Online on our YouTube channel and Facebook page tomorrow. And from the Cabbage Gang to Trukai Sports, here is Fidelis Sukina.
Thank you, Jeremy. We'll have rugby league, netball, rugby union and squash. Join me after the break.
Trukai Sports.
And welcome to Trukai Sports. League Bilang Life Development Officers were out today at the Taurama Elementary School in the nation's capital. Today's activity was the final in-classroom activity, which focused on key social messages and the importance of education. The elementary school students learned rugby league skills with enthusiasm despite the scorching sun.
The League Bilang Life flagship is all about supporting education outcomes through rugby league, driving the code and player participation in Papua New Guinea. The program saw over 600 students over a course of 5 weeks at the Taurama Elementary and Primary School to date.
We have a class of four prep classes, grade 1s, 5 classes, and grade 2s, 4 classes. So the total of children are 72 children are taking part in.
The 5-week sessions included delivering key social messages on respect and the importance of education for all Papua New Guineans.
Session 1 topic, food for your mood and hydration. Session 2, basic skills for rugby league. Session 3, sleep smart and keeping ourselves safe. And then we have session 4, introducing challenges, that's defense and attack. Session 5, Milo session.
Get your Milo, go to the field. Say thank you, say thank you.
League Bilang Life, a 3-year pilot program, is managed through a partnership between Australian government through DFAT, the Papua New Guinean government through the Department of Education and the NRL. Despite the scorching heat of the sun, game development officers deliver these programs for the love of the game.
That's what we love to do.
Kilawani, Trukai Sports.
The Mosby South Netball Championship was held on Sunday. The winner was Wanigila, who defeated Kirakira. Present at the occasion was member for Mosby South, Justin Chachenko, who officiated in the presentations. The recently established Southside Fitness Center in the Mosby South Electorate has been abuzz with the community indulging in sports activities at the complex. On Sunday was the Mosby South Netball Championship, with 2 champions taking to the court to see who would be the Mosby South Netball champion. Wanigila and Kirakira challenged for the cup, providing some hype for the spectators who attended. The match ended in favor of the Wanigila women, who won in a convincing 30-point victory, with the match ending 37 points to 7 in favor of Wanigila.
It was a good game, and congratulations, Wanigila! Let's also give a big round of applause to Kirakira Hanawa. Thank you, girls, Kirakira Hanawa and all the Motu Koitabu team there from Mosby South. Thank you very, very much.
Justin Chachenko was there to present the awards to the finalists. He has been passionate about the people in the Motu Koitabu areas in his electorate and was happy to host the competition.
This has been a competition that's been going on for the last nearly 6 months. We had the Wanigila competition, netball competition, and we had the winners there. And then we had the Motokoi Tabo, Mosby South, Netball competition, and Kirikira Hanawa were the winners for that competition.
Chichenko was happy with the turnout of the community during the regular netball season and said the introduction of sports in the community was to promote community activity among the communities in the Motu Koitabu villages.
This was designed to bring our communities together. Bring all our communities together in this through the name of sport, and especially through the name of netball, which all the girls love to play. In the Wanigala team too, we have some representatives for the PNG team as well. They've come up as well, so we're very proud of those ladies as well.
And that story ends Trukai Sports. The weather report when we return. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Quick look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, Port Mosby, sunny to fine weather. Afternoons expecting possible evening showers and thunder. Alotau and Popondetta, sunny to fine weather expected. Over to the Momase region, Leh and Medang, sunny to fine weather, while in Vanimo, partly cloudy with a shower of 2, a high of 31 degrees. Over to the New Guinea Islands, Loranga, a few showers and possible thunder, then cloudy weather, while in Boka, occasional rain showers and thunderstorms easing to a cloudy night, a high of 32 degrees. And finally, in the Highlands region, Mendi and Warburg, mostly fine to partly cloudy with evening rain drizzles, while in Mount Hagen, sunny to fine weather expected and a high of 25 degrees.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's the way it is for Tuesday, the 13th of October 2020. Pleasant viewing, be safe, bye for now.